Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
Hello, lovelies. We are in the midst of construction out here, but you know what? I'm still outside. And it is starting to get a little warm. I was freezing this morning. It was in the 50s this morning, and now it's probably in the 80s, but oh well. Still in my full bloom sweatshirt, y'all. You know, I'm doing my thing. Julie, Jocelyn, Catherine, Kathy, I'm so glad you're all here. It's the day after Labor Day. How was your Labor Day weekend? We had a great one. The kids came over yesterday. We floated out in the lake for ever, it seemed. I even got, even with all the sunscreen, I still got a little bit of sun and enjoyed the heck out of having my kids here. Jane, good to have you here. And we just had the best time. It's really fun just to float. The water temperature is just perfecto. So that was fun. And the weather was, everything was dialed in. So we had a great time. And as a matter of fact, they're coming back next week and they say, yeah, we should do this more often. I'm like, yeah, we better do it in a hurry because it's going to be gone. Lincoln had a ball. So this is funny. Hey, Martha, I see you. Corliss, you too. Good to have you here. So Lincoln, what we do, and you've been here. We have a dock. You have to take 66 steps to the dock. We have a dock and the boat, of course. So we had the boat there, and Caroline and Sam and I and Mark were all out there. Lincoln went running off. So I paddleboard all the way down to the one end of the lake, asking a bunch of people floating, have you seen my dog? Because I was paddleboarding and Mark was not paddleboarding. Let's just say that Mark was on his phone. And so the dog, I said, where's Lincoln? And Mark said, oh, I don't know. So I paddleboarded all the way down to the end of the lake. If you've been here, you know where that is. And then paddleboarded all the way back. Caroline and Sam had arrived at that point. They're all sitting on the boat. Lincoln's right here. And apparently, when Caroline and Sam got here, he ran up all those stairs and went out and greeted them in the driveway. That's what he does. He has this weird penchant for Caroline. I'm telling you, it's funny. Alice, hello. So he knows when Caroline's here and he goes after her in this bizarre way. He has certain people that he really attaches to. Caroline's one of them. Don't you wish you could ask dogs, what's the deal here? Why do you do this kind of stuff? Anyway, that's what he did. And I was just, by the time I got back from paddleboarding all the way back, by the way, good ab workout. And I'm thinking this morning, why am I so tired? And then I realized not only had I played pickleball, but I also did that whole lake one way and all the way back. And, but I got a little bit of sun, even with all the sunscreen, and the kids had a blast. Mark had fun. I got him up on the paddleboard. It was his first time doing it too. So we had a good time. He even tried to do a yoga position, the crow, which he used to be able to do, which I don't think I could do that. I think I'd probably crash on my head. If you know what it is, it's basically getting down on your hands and sitting, well, almost doing kind of a partial headstand, and your knees are sort of on your elbows, kind of a thing. Can you imagine? I can't do that regularly, let alone being on the paddleboard. But he did it for a brief second, and I captured it. It's on my Facebook if you want to take a gander at it and give him a round of applause. I mean, he's a 68-year-old man. Come on, that's pretty good. So we had a good time, had steak for dinner and, all the veggies and stuff, and kids were here. So I hope you had as great a weekend as we did. It was really fun. This is day 5 of the Hot Melt 30, if you're into the Hot Melt 30. And this began a whole conversation in my head. And the conversation in my head was like, so what are the components then? Because we're doing the hot melt 30. And like I said, it's a full spectrum kind of a thing. It's the whole picture. What are the components to vibrancy? What are the things? I mean, we know basically what they are, but let's unpack them and really talk about them. We have 3 days together today, Wise Women's Wednesday, and then Thirsty Thursday. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about this. And it's also a good time to say to those of you who are not doing the hot melt 30, come on board. You could at least do the hot melt 25, right? Some is better than none. We don't have to be perfectionists about this whole thing, y'all. We can be excellent about it. And starting is better than not doing it at all. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. Pinky's up. Absolutely, Jocelyn. Julie's done the crow, y'all. Good for you. Yeah, I'm too scared to do this, things like that. I just don't want to crash on my head. You know, you don't have anything to break your fall. I guess you could set up a bunch of pillows, but I don't know that I have that kind of balance. I don't think I do. I have good balance in other ways, but not on having my body weight on my hands. I don't know if I could hold my body weight. Oh, well. Anyway, for those of you who do it, you do it. The construction, I'm going to give you a quick look-see, is really going along. As you can see, the wall is being constructed here. Lots of insulation has gone up. Windows are all in. And this wall is going to contain 2 windows, and we have a clear glass door. I don't know if you saw it when I did that. Had a clear glass door that's going to go right there. And this whole area where I am on the other end of the deck is going to be a screened-in porch with the teak table and our grill. I'm really looking forward to this. Hello, Virginia. 90th birthday party with 90 people. That's appropriate. That's appropriate. Anyway, I'm going to keep you informed. As long as I can stay outside for our show, I'm going to be outside for our show. I'm also going to test and see. Our Wi-Fi signal seems to do okay on the boat. I might do a show on the boat. I can't guarantee that it'll work, but we'll give it a try. Why not? You know, if push comes to shove, I can always say, hey, it's not working. See you later. We'll talk tomorrow. I mean, you guys would put up with me, wouldn't you? Okay, so fresh day, new day, and you know what, a new week. You know what that means? That we have a new special of the week. You want to know what it is? Well, first of all, let me just tell you, we have a few things. We are, again, going through our inventory and saying, you stay, you go. It depends on how that all works. Hey, Deborah, glad you're here. So one thing that we are going to be closing out is Crave Crusher. Crave Crusher. It's a favorite supplement of mine. I sure like it. But apparently, I'm alone in this. There's a few people who like it. But Crave Crusher is easy. It's a buy one, get one. That's a no-brainer. And when you consider that there's 120 capsules in here, you take 4 at a time for the effectiveness. And it has L-glutamine in it. It also has tyrosine, phenylalanine, and it has a little 5-HTP in it. This is all calming brain stuff. You know, it's really good for your brain. I suggest that you buy more than one, because when it's gone, it's going to be gone. I'm not going to be producing this again. So get on it. And with each order, not with each one order, if you order like 5 of them, I'm not going to send you 5 calming coloring books. Sorry. We only have so many, but each order is going to get a calming coloring book. Now, let me tell you about this. This is one of my favorite things. Our Amber, of course, did this because she's brilliant like that. It's got beautiful designs in there to color. And then, of course, a gorgeous quote. I mean, this is a beautiful coloring book. And if you didn't know, and my suggestion is always that you use good coloring pencils, like Prisma are the ones that I bought. And they're in a little tin. They're obviously more expensive than the Crayola ones, but they color better. They have beautiful saturated colors. And as you color these things, you can feel the calm. Coloring books are awesome. So it's a nice thing to do when you're, at home alone, sitting around and you don't have something to do with your hands. Start coloring. I think coloring's amazing. It's amazing. So that's what's happening with this. You can find this deal at savingdinner.com/show. The other thing that you should know is, of course, free shipping. If you buy $300 or more in our shop, it's going to be free shipping for you if you live in the lower 48. We do that as our thank you to you because we really appreciate the fact that you chose to shop with us. And that means that's a big deal to us, you know? It's a huge deal for us. So I appreciate that greatly. The whole team does. And then the other thing that you need to know is that we have an Etsy shop. Have you seen it? So cute. Don't you want a full bloom sweatshirt? I know you do. savingdinner.com/Etsy to go get your full bloom swag. That's where it's all sitting right now. You can still join the Hot Melt 30, savingdinner.com/30, THIRTY. Some is better than none. Get started today. I mean, as soon as you order, you get your guide and you can start getting prepped and ready to go. Feel part of this whole thing. It is a movement, it's a community, it's a sisterhood, and it's a way for you to get on track. Big time. Big time. Not just a one and done, but it's just a continuous flow and movement. It's really great. What else did I have to tell you? Let me look at my notes here. It's this Thursday, isn't it, Jenny? It's this Thursday. We are doing a webinar called Why the Rising Tide. Now, the Rising Tide is a 3-week, it's a 3-week thing. Only 3 weeks. It is an intensive. It isn't even a course. It's a class. It's an intensive. It is one-on-one. It is hot seats. It's all the things. Because here's the thing that we know, that those who have goals have a more happy, vibrant life because they have purpose. They have a mission. They determine where they're going in their lives. And so they set goals to make them. And basically, what is a goal except a dream with a checklist and things to do? That's what this is about. And we take this with the principles of knowing how our brains operate and how they work and creating affirmations and intentions all written into our goals to make it work. And where do you see the workbook? It is insanely good, and it's going to be such a great tool for you. As a matter of fact, you'll be able to use this forever and ever, amen. It's just really going to seal the deal. You can find this at savingdinner.com/rising. Oh, it's Monday. Sorry. It's a week from this Monday. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. September 11th at 7 p.m. I have a hard time with dates sometimes. I put the wrong day. I put that in my calendar, Jenny. I'll fix that. Okay. Monday. Yeah, got it. Got it. You have that? But I want you to join me because I want you to see how crazy effective this can be for you. I'd love to hear you say, you know what? I didn't start the year out great, but I ended spectacularly well. That's what this is about. Or even if you're doing spectacularly well, how would you like to continue that? Sure. In a big, big way. All right. That's what we have. And I just want to say to you, the only last thing is we have such a great quote of the week. Have you seen it? It's Robin Sharma. This guy is really brilliant, I think. I think he's really, really smart. He has this quote: all too often we spend so much time waiting for the ideal path to appear. Now, hear me. We forget that paths are made by walking, not waiting. Did that hit you the way it hit me? Because don't we do this? And I mean, this is what we do all the time. We are constantly on the lookout for perfect, which doesn't exist. But excellence is all around us, and all we have to do is execute on that. That's why these paths are so important. And that's why we're going to be talking about all the stuff that we're talking about today. Let's get busy. We're talking about a full spectrum approach to our well-being. And our well-being encompasses more than just one thing. It's the whole person. Oh, for heaven's sakes, go away. It's the whole person. It's not just one thing. It's all. It is all. And we cannot, not for a minute, we can't divorce ourselves from the rest of ourselves and just concentrate on one thing. We have to look at ourselves as a whole being. That's how we were created, in his image, by the way. So if we understand that and we overlay that into our lives, what does that look like? Well, today, I want to talk about what are the things that make us healthy, happy, and wise. What are those things? And I believe that there are three pillars to this three-legged stool, three pillars. And today we're going to be doing the first one. And because, we're on the Hot Melt 30, there is, yes, a food and exercise part of that. I want to kind of unpack that a little bit because it's more than just a thing, it's several things. And it also requires customization in your life, in my life, in everyone's life. Because when we customize something, we get a perfect fit. Have you ever noticed that when, like your spouse, for example, when we had to get a jacket of his. He had a jacket that he was wearing for a special event actually it was a tux that he had way back when we went to, we had a bunch of black tie things. We don't do any of that anymore, but we had a bunch of black tie things that we were going to. So it was cheaper to buy the tux than to rent it. And he went in there and he put it on this tux and it just looked kind of sloppy. And then the tailor came out, did this down the side, lengthened, shortened up the arms, fixed the legs, and, brought some stuff in and let some stuff out, all the things. A customized fit made that man look like he walked off the cover of GQ when he was all, fluffed up and done. It was such a sensational after look, shall we say. The before versus the after, big time difference. We need to do that with our lives. We need to do that to have the fit right with everything. Because like, for example, like Jane, she's Hot Melt 30ing, but she's FODMAPing too, because that is a good fit for her. So I don't ever want anybody to say, yeah, I'm doing this, but I have to do X, Y, and Z. You don't have to apologize. You know what you need. I'll tell you, I am Hot Melt 30, but I've got rice on my plan. I have rice on my plan. Do you have it on yours? Probably not, but you probably don't have stuff going on in your life the way that I do, activity wise, as far as all the exercise and stuff. I have to have that or I'll find myself just absolutely drained with nothing. It's weird. I never really considered that I would need those kind of carbs, but I do for that kind of stuff. And so therefore we go in and we customize and we make the fit happen. So for this one, we're going to talk about the food. We're going to talk about the exercise and getting all of these things on point. And then I want you to go back and to look at it and say, okay, how do I customize this for the right fit, the excellent fit for me? Okay, deal? The first thing we're going to do is say, and of course, this isn't going to surprise you. I believe the Hot Melt way of eating is smart. I believe it's an intelligent way to eat because it minimizes any kind of inflammation. Unless, of course, you have some kind of a sensitivity to some food or whatever. But most of us need a little bit lowering of the carbs because we eat a ton of carbs. And if we understand, too, that a lot of this food out there that comes in a bag or in a box or that has a list of ingredients or even a smaller list of ingredients or whatever, but you know what I'm talking about. A lot of this stuff has been engineered to get us hooked and addicted because of the flavorings and all the rest of it. But why do they do? Well, we know why they do that. This is part of the whole scheme. It's not hard to figure out, but it's also understandable that yes, we do need to lower our carbohydrate intake when we take a look at our bellies. If our belly is saying, hey, girlfriend, you got too much around the middle, that's the carbohydrates saying we've had enough. So we need to bring it down a notch, right? That's what it is. So when we reduce our carbohydrate intake, especially the refined stuff, especially the stuff that, what I'm talking about, your body is going to change fuel sources. It's going to go, instead of all the glucose, it's going to change over to ketones and use stored fat as well. It's true. And, but Jane says she has rice, cornmeal, and potatoes in small quantities, but upping the veg. I mean, I kind of do the very same thing, but Jane is also extraordinarily active, running miles and miles a day. So it makes sense. You have to. It's glycogen that gets formed in your liver and goes a little bit into your muscle. But if you've got too much glycogen there's only so much your liver can handle, and then it starts to get stored in your muscle. You have to burn through a lot of that before you can get to the fat, right? But the thing is, chocolate is a carb. Yes, it is a carb, unfortunately. But chocolate is only a carb really with sugar. Otherwise, it has some protein and fat in it. How do you like that? But the point is, I don't even know where I was going with all of that. But the point is that your energy will actually even out when you lower the carb values a little bit, especially if you aren't as active as maybe you'd like to be. And then we also take a look at raising up the greens. The green things are such an important thing because most of us don't eat enough of it. And as a matter of fact, there was a poll done not too long ago, and they said that most Americans, like 90% of Americans, do not get enough fruit and vegetables. And when we're talking fruit too, we're not talking all the sweet stuff, not the bananas and the tropical fruits and all of that, because that stuff can be, they're hybridized, right? And they have extra sugar in them. And sugar is sugar is sugar. Some is more damaging than the other, but the body understands that sugar is fuel. And if we have too much fuel, we store it as fat, period. That's just how it works. So when we're looking at this, we need to look at greens for the density of the green. The greens feed the mitochondria. The mitochondria is little energy centers inside of every single cell. When your mitochondria is sluggish, so are you. You know what that feels like. However, when your mitochondria is well fed and well oiled and doing its thing, your energy levels soar. It's also a longevity thing. It makes your longevity much better and much healthier. You don't want to just live a lot of years. You also want to live healthy, vibrant years, right? The other thing that we need to look at, and you can look this up yourself, is look at the connection between the lack of greens in your life and macular degeneration. It's a thing that people have, and it's not good. It can lead to blindness, and it's about your eyes. And elderly people oftentimes get this, and if you look at elderly people's diets, it's often not what it needs to be. So those greens are going to protect your eyes as well. So keep that in mind. And as a matter of fact, your digestion and your detoxification also are very reliant on greens, especially things like cilantro and parsley. So chopped fresh cilantro, chopped fresh parsley into your whatever foods that you're eating or whatever. It's a really good idea. If you have parsley, a handful even in your smoothie. It's amazing what it does. And it also is kind of like your body's filter and mouthwash. How about body wash? It makes your breath smell better too, interestingly. Quality fats are a big one, and healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, even good organic butter. Don't let people start saying, oh, saturated fat. Come on, welcome to 2023. It's not 1985 anymore. It's 2023. We understand that we need to be looking for quality all the way around the block. So avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, for example, all of these things are just incredible sources, but so is good, healthy, organic butter. Just saying, just putting it out there. Coconut oil, another saturated fat. Oh my gosh. But no, it's very good for you. Full of medium chain triglycerides, which is enormously good for your brain, for your circulation, and helps your body to burn fat faster, believe it or not. So it's really amazing stuff. But what you need to know is your fat soluble vitamins are really dependent on you eating fat so that you can use them up. Plus, your hormones run on fat. No fat means your hormone function is going to be a dysfunction. So keep that in mind as you're looking at your diet. Don't go back to this old way of thinking that, oh, that's so high in fat, blah, blah, blah. I'll just remember way back. Do you remember when they did those smart wells? Was that smart something? And they had the Oreo cookies. Everything was fat-free this, fat-free that, but it was a sugar nightmare. I gained weight on all of that stuff, thinking, oh, so not going to eat Snackwell. That's what it was. Snackwell. Snack terrible is what it should have been called. And it was a, what storm of chemicals is what it was. It was just a mess. A mess. And how did we not know this? What made us think that this was good? It was just a lot of, media coverage and everybody doing low fat, non-fat. And what they do instead, even like in cottage cheese, for example, oh, take out the fat. And now if you look at the carb situation, it's higher in carbs. Add more sugar. That's what happens there. So our fat is super important, and it's also interesting. It's going to help keep your blood pressure and your cholesterol under control as well. It adds to that factor. It adds to satiety. It adds to the enjoyment of your food. And by the way, there is nothing wrong with enjoying food. Nobody wants to be on a diet, and to me, that's just punishment. What we want is food that supports the life we're trying to lead. We want food that fuels, not inflames. And that's what we're talking about here, because all of these things, as long as you understand about your food sensitivities, like Kathy and Jane's discussion here about, FODMAPs and low FODMAPs and all of that is just, it is an understanding of where you are in your customized fit for what it is that you need to do for your body. But you will never, ever go wrong with whole foods. Of course, you'll never go wrong with them. They're there for you to support your body. What combination, the way you need to eat them, how it needs to work out in your life and what have you, you get to dial that in. But I will say one thing. Any woman, especially postmenopausal woman, needs to look at her protein. As we get older, our protein needs increase, because as we eat the protein, we then feed the muscle. The muscle then protects the bone. And what happens to women 65 plus and over who fall and fracture their hip. There is a 60-something% likelihood, I can't remember exactly what it was, of never walking again unaided. In other words, you might be on a walker or a cane for the rest of your life, or need hip replacement or something. But we just have to be so protective of that. And we can eat for that. We can eat to protect ourselves. What a concept that is. How beautiful of a concept that is. Then we need to start looking at exercise. I'm going to talk about, I haven't talked about this, I think, for, 7 years, but all components of what exercise is, any kind of movement is. The first one we have to start with is flexibility. When we have flexibility, like in our hip flexors and our joints and our knees and our ankles and all of that, then we understand that that is also protective of our bodies. This kind of movement, we have static stretching and we have dynamic stretching. If you're going to do an exercise, if you're going to go out and play pickleball or whatever else that's going to require movement, you don't go out on the court cold. You start with doing stuff like little running in place and high knees and knees to the back of you and what have you, and then turning your body, your trunk, turning your head, moving your wrists, because your wrists are going to be used, your hips are going to be used, your ankles are going to be used, hip flexors open. There's just some things that you do. I have a 10-minute routine that I do every time I play pickleball. I am not on the injured list because I do these things and because I take these things seriously. That needs to be you too when you are getting ready to do some kind of sports activity. It's these things all support the lives that we want to live. And then when we add in this adds to the flexibility, and it adds to keeping you warm and stretch. And then afterwards, the static stretch, like a runner's stretch, or like leaning to the side and doing all these kind of things. Dynamic and static, two different types of stretching, but absolutely critical, because this is going to help your range of motion for your joints. It's going to help reduce muscle stiffness and way decrease your injury risk. I will ask you right now, Jane, who runs, I would bet you money, I would put money on it, that Jane never, ever goes out without warming up, right? Dynamic stretch for running is also important too, not just static stretching, but dynamic stretching. We want to stay injury free. We eat to stay injury free with all the collagen that we're taking in, but we also need to stretch and be flexible. We also need to be strong, you know, because resistance training, and you can do this, even without, without weights, right? You can do it without weights. You can use your body weight. Tricep dips, ever done those? Push-ups, that's body weight. All these things, start there, at least start there. And then you can start progressing into heavier, but it strengthens your muscles, your bones, your tendons. It boosts your metabolism. It aids in weight management, and it changes your body's composition. You can still, it's funny, but you can still stay the same weight. You start doing all the lifting and everything, and you find yourself in one size smaller. Your weight hasn't changed, but your measurements sure have. This is why we always say, yank out the tape measure. It makes a difference. It's going to tell the story way better than the scale is. Your body composition has changed. We also then have to look at balance, because, balance boards, there's the, what is that? I can't remember. The Bosu ball, if you've ever seen those. That's like it's a platform with a big ball over the top, and you can Bosu ball on top of the ball, or you can turn it over. It's even harder, and do that. And I can still do that. We have a Bosu ball at home, and I can do squats with a weight on it, on the Bosu ball when I'm on the platform there, and it's hard, but it's really good for balance. The other thing you can do, just some stuff at home without having to do anything crazy like that, is attempt to not hold on to something, but have something that you can grab onto if you need to. I do this every single day when I put on my shoes and socks. I put on my sock, hold up my knee, put on my sock. I'm standing on one leg. Great balance thing. And then I do the same thing with put on my shoe and tie my shoe in the air. Same thing on the other leg. It's a balance exercise that I do. Anything that I can do without the aid of something else is going to help with balance. This is something that we can all do. The other thing is, this is also a longevity exercise, is can you stand up from the floor in a cross-legged position like this? Can you stand up from the floor, get up unaided without your hands, and just stand up all the way? That is an incredible balance exercise, and it's awesome. If you can't do it yet, that's fine. Keep practicing and you'll get it. The very first time that I tried it, I was like, whoa, kind of thing. And then I just worked on it, and I could do it, pretty fast. It doesn't take much, because you kind of get what it is that you need to do, but it's tough, but it's really good for you to get that kind of balance. And then, of course, cardiovascular exercise. I don't do any of that because I get that plenty of it on the pickleball court. So brisk walking, high intensity interval training. I also do sprints when I'm walking the dog, because I'm trying to it's for my sport, trying to get from here to there quickly on the pickleball court. It helps to develop that fast twitch muscle. So that's also a longevity test, if you will, to get those kind of things going. Plus, it's lung function, folks, and it's shown that lung function is also a marker for longevity. And remember, we're not here to see how long we can endure being on Earth. We're here so we can live our lives, enjoy our lives into our senior years. It makes a big, big, big difference. And then, of course, we have to look at rest. And what do you know about sleep? Well, you know what I'm going to say. Honor your circadian rhythm. Get to bed and make sure that you're in bed asleep between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., as this is when your body does the healing and the cleansing and the cleaning up and all the rest of it, detoxing. This is your circadian rhythm, and this is how it works. I didn't make this stuff up, but if you can train yourself into this type of a sleep kind of a situation, you are 10 steps ahead of everyone else. It is not just the quantity of sleep, it's also the quality of sleep. And quality happens at certain hours. You can't fix that. That's like trying to go to the store when it's closed. You can't you can't return something to a store when it's closed, can you? Well, same thing with us. I mean, we can't refresh our bodies and get the healing in that we can get in if we're not honoring those hours. So get that in for sure. And it helps to keep your body in balance, and you will notice the difference. And let me just tell you something. Night owls are created. It is not a natural thing. It's not. Sorry. And then there's a rest day. By the way, this is important. Today is my rest day because I don't play any pickleball at all on Tuesdays. And it's really hard for me because I'm jonesing right now. I want to go out there. I want to see who's out there. I want to go look at the schedule. I want to see if, maybe I can do a pickup game or something. I'm not going to, because that's how you get worn out. We have to honor our body's rest. This is a part of rest that's so important. And we actually look forward to resting and just kind of giving our bodies a day off. I know I did last night. I was thinking, I'm glad it's a rest day, even though I get up this morning thinking, it'd be kind of fun. But no, got to rest it. That's honoring as well. And, it also lowers our body's stress level. And it creates a better body home to live in, doesn't it? When the stress level, whoever wants to be walking on eggshells in somebody's house or in your own home? Nobody wants that. Well, that's kind of what we do and create in our own bodies when we're constantly going. We got to bring it down a notch and honor those rest days. And a couple of ways that we do, continuous rest, of course, is mindfulness and meditation. You know about this, all kinds of recreational activities. We floated in the water yesterday for hours. That was recreational, man. It was really fun. And also just taking a minute to take a break from all the digital stuff. I don't think I looked at my phone very much yesterday, just to maybe return a text here or there, or make sure Caroline and Sam got in the gate and that kind of thing. I mean, that pretty much none of it. We need that kind of rest. We need that kind of buffer and margin in our lives so that we're not being constantly bombarded. The stress of all of this stuff is a lot. And I want to tell you one thing too. Quick story. I know I'm going a little bit over, but I have to tell you this quick story. We watched a show on, I don't know whatever it is. It was called The Boys, and it was sort of a superhero gone bad type of a story. It was real tongue in cheek and funny, but yet kind of violent and graphic. And I thought, well, this isn't bothering me because it's not real life kind of thing, and it's kind of haha, whatever. I had the biggest, most awful nightmare of my life, and it was I had to rescue Mark, and I had a big knife, and I had to cut all these people up, kind of like the boys how the boys were, and those kind of things are impactful, at least for me. I don't know where you are in the scheme of things, but watch what you're allowing to go into your person, on television, even the news and all of that, because it will stress you out. And even in ways that we don't think will, surprise, it does. And when we're thinking about rest, we also have to think about de-stressing so that we can live our best lives, so that we can live in a way that's full and loving and vibrant and everything that we want. When we do all of these things, this makes all the difference in the world. And so this was the first leg of the stool of vibrancy, shall we say, the three-legged stool of vibrancy. Tomorrow, we're going to dig a little bit into another aspect of it. So I hope you'll join me, because tomorrow is Wise Women's Wednesday. Now, if you missed any of the announcements, you know where they are. We always keep them in the same darn place, savingdinner.com/announcements. And if you need anything, please reach out to us. You can always find us at support@savingdinner.com. We're there for you. Peace be with you. Pinkies up. Let's have a great week. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.